Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
When is Sof Zman Achilas Chametz? When does it become prohibited to eat chametz? So our focus in this lesson is to clarify a few points. Number one, the difference between the Sof Zman from a biblical perspective versus a rabbinical perspective. And of course, the actual practical time on the calendar that you should follow. Now, although it seems quite simple, follow the time it says on the calendar, well, different calendars list different times, as we know, Magen Avram, Balatanya, Gra. So we will try to clarify this matter here, which time, by which of those times we should stop eating chametz, what's known as the earlier time of the Magen Avram, or the later time of the Balatanya, and what is the Chabad custom in this matter. So let's begin. We have a Gemara in Maseches Pesachim, page 28a through b, in which a dispute is recorded amongst the Tanaim, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, in regards to when the Torah prohibits us from eating chametz, starting from what time. The Rashbi is of the opinion that the prohibition of eating chametz begins from the night of Pesach. The same time you have a mitzvah to eat matzah, you have a prohibition to eat chametz, not beforehand. So until the beginning of the night of Pesach, even on Erev Pesach, he could continue eating chametz. However, Rabbi Yehuda disputes and is of the opinion, based on his expoundation from the verses of Scripture, that it is forbidden to eat chametz starting from midday, chatzos, the halachic midday, which is the 7th hour of the daytime, starting from morning. From this time it is biblically forbidden to eat chametz, and one who does so transgresses a negative command, and this is practically how we rule halacha l'maisa, recorded in the Rush, the Rambam, the Mechaber in the Shulchanaruchharav, and the Alter Rebbe in chapter 431, halacha 2. So biblically it's forbidden to eat chametz starting from midday. Now what about rabbinically? So being that in previous times watches were not exactly available to every individual, and even if they weren't always accurate, and people would tell time by simply looking at the sun, since at times it is difficult to tell time based on sunlight, as there are clouds and rain, etc. Therefore the sages were quite worried that if we actually tell people they can follow the biblical law and eat chametz till midday, they may come to make a mistaken calculation of when midday is based on the confusion of the cloudy skies, and think it's not yet midday and eat chametz when midday has already arrived. So what do? They preceded the prohibition to 2 zmanius hours before chatzos. So is recorded in the Mishnah in Pesachim 11b in name of Rabbi Yehuda, and so is recorded in the Shulchanaruch of the Mechaber 443 halacha 1, and in the Alter Rebbe 443 1 as well. That starting from 2 zmanius hours before chatzos, it is forbidden to eat, rabbinically forbidden to eat chametz. Practically, this calculates as the beginning of the 5th hour of the day or the end of the 4th hour of the day. Depends how you look at it. Practically, this is equivalent to the time of Sof Zman Tefillah for Shachris that you see on your calendar. So Sof Zman Tefillah that's written on your calendar is synonymous to Sof Zman Achilas Chametz for Erev Pesach. However, just as we see that on Sof Zman Tefillah we find 2 different Zmanim, one of the Magen Avram, the second of the Balatanya and Gra, so too regarding Sof Zman Achilas Chametz, this debate regarding Sof Zman Tefillah would likewise be regarding Sof Zman Achilas Chametz. We will not currently delve into this debate in detail, which is something we've discussed in tremendous length in our lessons on Sof Zman Kriyat Shema. But in summary, many opinions hold that the daytime begins from sunrise, and thus the 4-hour count. We said Sof Zman Achilas Chametz is 4 hours, the end of 4 hours into the day, beginning of the 5th hour. So that begins from sunrise. And this is the time listed in calendars as Sof Zman Tefillah, Sof Zman Achilas Chametz of the Balatanya and the Gra. However, on the other hand, many poskim hold of the previous approach of the Magen Avram, that the day is calculated starting from Alois HaShachar, daybreak, not sunrise, and thus the 4-hour calculation begins earlier than sunrise, and therefore they hold just like Sof Zman Tefillah of the Magen Avram is earlier than the previous mentioned time, so too the Sof Zman Achilas Chametz is synonymous with Sof Zman Tefillah of the Magen Avram. How should one follow? So many Sfardim are accustomed to follow the earlier opinion, and therefore they stop eating any chametz by the Sof Zman Tefillah of the Magen Avram, Sof Zman Achilas Chametz of the Magen Avram. However, other communities, especially of Lita and Ashkenaz, are even initially accustomed to eat chametz until the later time, Sof Zman Tefillah of the Balatanya and the Gra, which is the Sof Zman Achilas Chametz of the Balatanya and the Gra. And regarding the Chabad custom, so it's known that while in the Alter Rebbe's writings there are contradictions regarding which opinion to follow, in Hilchas Pesach he clearly rules like the later approach, and likewise in the Siddur, and thus it is named the Zman Balatanya and Gra, after those who held of those opinions. And therefore, min adin, according to Chabad custom, you can eat even initially chametz until Sof Zman Achilas Chametz of the Balatanya and Gra. However, there is a tradition from the Alter Rebbe and the other Chabad Rebbeim that one should initially stop eating chametz 45 minutes before the start time of the 5th hour, meaning before Sof Zman Achilas Chametz of the Balatanya, 45 minutes beforehand, you should already stop eating chametz. This tradition was handed over to the Rebbe Rashab and by his father, the Rebbe Marash, and told to Rav Yaakov Landau that practically one should stop eating chametz 45 minutes before the end time. Thus, in conclusion, even according to the Chabad custom to follow the later time of the Balatanya for Sof Zman Achilas Chametz, in actuality, one should try to arrange to finish breakfast and stop eating chametz 45 minutes before this time, which often ends up being the same time as Sof Zman Magen Avram, or even a few minutes earlier, depending on which country you're in. Nonetheless, as Avram Chaim Na points out, if for whatever reason you do not manage to eat or finish eating by this time, you can even initially eat chametz until the actual end time of the Balatanya and the Gra. And one should not put undue pressure on people, especially mothers and small children, to have to finish by the earlier time. So to summarize, it's asur min HaTorah to eat chametz starting from midday. It's asur min d'Rabbanan to eat chametz starting from 2 hours before midday, which is the end of the 4th hour of the day, the beginning of the 5th hour of the day, which is synonymous to Sof Zman Tefillah. Sfardim are accustomed to follow the Sof Zman Tefillah and Achilas Chametz of the Magen Avram. Ashkenazim and Chassidim are accustomed to follow the Sof Zman Tefillah and Achilas Chametz of the Balatanya and Gra. Although according to Chabad tradition, one should initially try to arrange to finish eating chametz 45 minutes before the end time.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.